Hi, everyone. My speech is about climate change and what we can do to reduce climate change in a way. Um, Ultimately, global warming, climate change, it's a really trendy but misunderstood topic. Certain populations, they tend to belittle the existence that global warming is in fact occurring, while others are actually making it worse by buying more like green products and falling into that trap that's actually not necessarily beneficial for the environment. Um, Dale, Dale Jamieson, professor of environmental studies at NYU, speaks on the topic of climate change. He says, unless something unexpected intervenes, this will result in vast damages to much that we care about human lives, property, species, natural ecosystems, and so forth. So, reducing the threat of global warming requires individual action that encourages collective responsibility. What exactly is global warming and why is it a threat? Ultimately, it's rooted in this concept called the greenhouse effect. So CO2 and other pollutants are emitted into the atmosphere and they're kind of held there, they're trapped there, and it's kind of like a heated blanket that covers the earth and causes ultimately heat to the earth. This it results in drought. It results in a risk for wildfires, both of which California experiences frequently. There's a wildfire right now. Um, when this happens, agriculture is at risk, and this obviously lessens the access we have to fresh produce, food. Um, Also, flooding at the eastern sea border, making coastal areas uninhabitable. And we also may see extinction of species. According to the National Resources Defense Council, over the past 50 years, the average global temperature has increased at the fastest rate in recorded history, and experts see the trend is accelerating. So it's definitely an issue. It's definitely something that we need to pay attention to, and I believe that it's been ignored for a long time. Um, Climate change will affect our environment, economy, and our health. Um, it is a very complex situation, and I believe a lot of people don't quite understand the ins and outs, including myself, about how exactly we can reduce climate change because it's going to take a lot of nations. It's going to take major nations, not just the US, obviously, because it's the whole earth. Um, but I would start with public awareness and educating yourself. That's something that I really want to do, and that's part of why I picked this topic. So we need to really bring awareness to this and also do our part in individual pieces. The first thing that I'm understanding is that we need to reduce. It starts with reduce. When you think of reduce, recycle. So we don't need to buy things that we don't need. That takes energy. So when you think of like when people are buying the Tesla, the Rolex for um, electric cars, if you have a good working car, buying a Tesla is not good for the environment. It actually costs a lot of, makes a lot of energy. You need a lot of energy to make a Tesla. So therefore, it actually really is polluting the earth. It's kind of interesting how you think about that. It's more energy efficient, but what does it take to make a Tesla? So again, using what you have. You don't need to buy green products if you have something that works just as well, because those green products you pollute the earth in order to be made. So think about that. Reducing plastic water bottles. If you buy a water bottle and use that for the rest of your life, you're good to go. Um, and then also another thing to think about is it's the big corporations that are having a major impact on climate change. So if we can reduce our spending and our even boycotting those, that is also beneficial. So Coca-Cola, Tyson Foods, those are a few companies that really are causing major pollution and then ultimately causing global warming. Um, So, and then lastly, when it comes to reducing, reusing what you have, and then recycling, it's way easier to recycle in other places, but here there is a local one. It's Organic Solutions, I believe. There's a local, that's where you can go recycle cardboard, etc. And then also, if you don't have a recycling bin at your house, you can talk to your landlord or get one yourself, depending on where you live. But talk to your landlord and see if they'll give you a recycling bin, so it makes it easier for you. I feel like if it's easy and realistic, then it's more likely to happen. So, recycle when you can, but other than that, reduce and reuse first. And so, in conclusion, remember that climate change won't really be affected by just an individual behavior unless it's geared towards educating and the whole public and bringing awareness to it. We really have to have collective effort in this. And by doing this, we may be able to reduce the effects of climate change and facilitate a better world for our children.